Hello and welcome to another edition of Risk and Robots with Nick Lamparelli and myself, Pankaj Parashar. Today we're going to pick up from where we left off in the last episode. If you recall, we were trying to figure out how to use AI to come up with a logo and finalize the logo. Um, Nick, over to you to tell our listeners, our audience, what did we land upon and how was that experience?
Yeah. What's very interesting about the whole process, Pankaj, is that um, the AI, as if for those that are kind of catching this or just want a reminder, the AI ended up producing thousands of different versions. So we gave it some prompt. It delivered thousands of results, and the vast majority of them, I would say, were not options that you and I would have selected, right? So interesting, creative, artistic, but based off of the prompt that we gave them, it wasn't exactly what we were looking for. So um, we ended up choosing one particular type, and the tool that we used allowed some editing, so we can go in and kind of make some color changes and some tint changes to the particular one that we selected. But it just keeps highlighting over and over again that it's like that without the human element, the AI cannot complete this task. Like it's good for essentially one function of the job, which is, hey, here are a whole bunch of ideas, and then that's it. It's kind of like crickets. We really required a human to be able to do that. So we chose one, and it was really the only one that we saw that we really liked. We did not scan the thousands and thousands. It I think it answered the prompt. We got the color scheme that we liked, and then we picked that up and we took it to other tools. I ended up I'll share my screen. Ended up bringing it into PowerPoint, just because we brought it into Canva. We made some additions, but it couldn't quite get it fully fixed. So we got the fonts, we got the colors, we got the microphone. That was from Canva. That was took just a few minutes to be able to do that. But I really wanted a headset on there. I thought a headphone would make it like a real podcast. So I couldn't quite get the shapes correct in Canva, and they all of the other headphone images were basically face head-on headphones with two ear sets, so it didn't quite work. Could not quite get it to crop correctly. So I decided I'd have to make the shape myself, and could not get the shapes correct in Canva. So went over to PowerPoint, which I'm a little bit more comfortable in, and got the shapes. It's essentially a circle that I turned into an oval, and two arcs. One arc created the headset. Another arc created the illusion that the headset is kind of turning over our robot's head. Gave one of them a boundary, and that's it. I think you and I both kind of got to this point where like, this is good. This is a really good start to our logo. So basically, aside from providing this information to you, we essentially settled in. The prompt took a few seconds, the results took a few seconds, our selection of the logo took a few seconds. The most time-consuming part was like two human beings finalizing, like, what do we want this to look like? Maybe not this font, maybe not this color. That was the most time-consuming part. So again, we're back to the AI will feed you a lot, but ultimately we're dealing with human beings that have to make decisions, and the human part was still the most time-consuming element. But going forward, Risk in Robots tagline: the future is human plus AI, and this is what we're going to go live with.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And just to the listeners to remind them the tool that we used initially to come up with the logo was called Brand Crowd. We'll share the details in the link. The next tool that was used was Canva, which allowed Nick to play around with the mic. So we tweaked it. And then the third tool, as you saw, was good old PowerPoint. So between those three tools, we've managed to get our logo, which is the task that we had left.
Yeah. And I think what we'll do, Pankaj, I think what will be helpful is we'll consider these conversations to be a bit more long form of the podcast. So it's going to be really difficult from a just pure audio standpoint to show our work. So on the video side, what we'll do is we can go back and customize some short videos on how we actually did those steps. So a short on the prompt to get us in what was the name of the tool? Brand Crowd.
Brand Crowd, yeah.
Yeah, we'll show you the prompt that we use. We'll show you the results. We'll show you our selection, and then I will show you how I went into Canva and into PowerPoint to just kind of finalize the colors, the headset, the font, to get to a final PNG.
Awesome. Awesome. So the next thing that we were supposed to do was the brand colors. And so let me tell the audience where we landed with that. So listen, brand colors, which is part of the overall brand strategy for a business, an entity, a podcast, is actually a very, very interesting exercise. You can spend as much time and money to come up with the output. We are frugal people and we're startup people, so we said that we will take a shortcut that allows us to get the job done. And so what we did was we took the input of the logo colors and we tried to get, again, a search of a lot of the AI tools that could come up with the brand colors or make recommendations on brand palettes. But the best one that we could find was actually, believe it or not, Canva. So Canva was where I think we had the most luck. And I'm going to just share my screen to show what that looked like. So if you see here, there was we put in it's called Magic Design. Looks like it's a new feature by Canva. It's pretty interesting, where I think they have factored in the AI component to it. So we gave the logo as an input to the media, and it came up with a bunch of recommendations around what those colors look like. And we said, all right, let's go and see the palette that most appeals to the two of us. And we ended up with one that just did. And that one is okay, I think we'll have to edit this part.
Yeah.
I
think it was a bit lower. It was a tree.
Okay, let me pause it. Okay, so this is the palette that we've decided to go with. As you can see, it has the colors that we were looking for, kind of the shades of the orange and the little darker colors. And we have the hex codes associated with the brand colors. There you go.
Yeah.
This is how we've ended up with the brand colors for Risk and Robos.
Yeah. So, people who are listening or watching to this, as you mentioned, brand colors, I mean, there are corporations that spend millions of dollars in order to kind of nail that down. We're a bit more frugal, mostly because we don't have $1 million to spend on this problem. But you know, I do understand a lot of the science behind branding and the colors and all of that. Can you imagine Coca-Cola being anything other than, that bright red can? But there's also another aspect to it, which is, was it the color that made Coca-Cola, or was it Coca-Cola that made the color, kind of thing? And so, yeah, we could spend a lot of time working on the logo, the colors, or whatever. Think what it is we're trying to show you is, here are the tools. They're going to give you a lot of options. That's about what these tools are useful for, right? They'll give you, they can add to the creativity, but ultimately, if you want to take brand more seriously, you can, but these tools will still shortcut the time that it takes. It can provide a lot of different options, a lot of different ideas for you to negate and decline, as you filter your way towards a final decision. We were not that picky, and so the colors we ended up choosing, I think, kind of stood out to us. We're in the fall season. Even though I live in Florida, I miss the October season, and those colors of orange just remind me of like that coolness of autumn, and just something warm about it, especially considering we're talking about AI and robots, right? Which is, scary elements, creepy. I was literally having a conversation last week with someone talking about some of the tools that Pankaj and I were using, and it's almost creepy how how interesting, and we'll call it invasive, these tools are, and what they can do, and how they can perform. In some ways, it's almost like reading your mind, which is kind of scary. So I wanted a nice warm color to make the robot as human as possible.
Awesome. Awesome. So just summarizing our journey so far, you've seen us use AI to come up with the name of the podcast, the logo, and the slogan for the podcast, and the brand colors. Coming up on a future episode is going to be the music, the intro and the outro music, as well as a video to go with it. And I think once we have that, we have pretty much all the logistical aspects of the podcast ready, and we can then start doing a lot of the content generation around interviewing people. And Nick and I will continue to explore other specific AI tools that we think are helpful, just like we did our note-taking app,
Yeah.
between Fathom, Otter, and Read.ai.
I have a feeling that that's going to consume a big part of what we're going to do, Pankaj. Just the note-taking app, the more time I spend in these, the more I realize we're just scratching at the surface of what these tools can do. So, in the last episode, Pankaj and I went through like some of the additional features. I happen to think some of those additional features are the value add. I almost think like the transcription pieces of it, that this can take notes, is almost like de facto table stakes for these tools, and it's the live coaching, the feedback sessions that are going to be the most valuable, and the executive summaries. So, um, these AI tools showing up at meetings and then providing you with some sort of digest of what happened in the meeting. And Pankaj, I saw a really funny, I think it was on Twitter, but a really funny image. Someone was showing a screenshot of their Zoom meeting, and it was predominantly attended by these AI tools. So, like, if you have not used one of these note-taking tools, I think, we will categorize these and collate them into a database to share with you, so you can see how to use them. But I think you're going to have to select one and jump on it and kind of move forward. They're aggressively taking over in a good way.
Cool. Awesome. Well, on that note, we come to an end to this in this episode. Uh, Thank you once again, Nick, for this episode, and we will be back again with another one in our continuing journey of AI exploration, generative exploration for the modern world.
Yep. Until next time.
Take care.